2分钟详细解读历代哈雷发动机名称。
Howdy, this is Lemmy with RevZilla, here to talk to you today about how the Harley engines got their names. Now, if you've been riding a motorcycle for longer than about 4.5 seconds, you probably understand that Harleys aren't always referred to by their model, but instead often referred to by the engine that resides between their frame rails. Now, before we get too deep into things, you should understand that just about every engine name ends in head. Not every single thing that we're going to discuss actually refers to the head. In fact, in many cases, what we're actually going to be referring to are the rocker boxes. So even though those sit on the head, it's not actually the head that gives them their name. Now let's get right into things. We're going to start our little history tour, not at the beginning, but sort of in the middle, and we're going to talk about the Harley Flathead. Now these ran from 1929 to 1973 in some form or flavor, and these got their name very simply because the head is just a flat cap. You'll notice there's no valves and there's nothing. This is just a cap for the engine. Now one thing you should be aware of is that flathead is not a Harley-specific term. There were Ford flatheads, Briggs & Stratton flatheads, all sorts of flatheads. Flathead is just another nickname for a side valve engine. Now in 1936, Harley introduced a new overhead valve model. That's the Knucklehead.
It is Knucklehead can score.
Now interestingly enough, the Knucklehead didn't get its name immediately. Instead, that came later on. Everybody just referred to them as overhead valves because it was Harley's first common overhead valve model. Later on, when it did acquire its name, that again came from the rocker boxes. And if you look at the rocker boxes on those, they're contoured very smoothly and they look similar to the knuckles on a human hand. In 1948, running all the way to 1965, we have the panhead. So this is a rocker box off of a panhead. And if you ask me, this is probably the rocker box that most closely resembles its name. If you look at this thing, this looks just like Mom's cake pan.
I love you like a fat kid love cake.
That's a panhead. 1966 saw the arrival of the shovelhead, which ran all the way from 1966 to 1984. Right here, we're looking at a set of shovelhead rocker boxes. Now, if you look at these puppies, you may say, Lem, why would anybody call this a shovelhead? Well, that's pretty easy. If you grab yourself a shovel and hold them up next to it, the back of a shovel tends to look an awful lot like a shovelhead rocker box, hence the name. Now this is probably the end of the line for most of the named Harley motors. After this came the Evolution motor, and the Evolution was called the Blockhead. You may hear that name dragged out every now and then. It caught some popularity. And after that came the Twin Cam. Some people really tried to push the moniker Fathead for that, but it really just didn't ever catch on. Now before we kind of run out of here, if you happen to ride a Sportster, you may have heard of the Ironhead. Now the Ironhead is actually an engine that does derive its name from the head. The heads on an Ironhead Sportster truly are made of iron. Now that name, again, didn't come about until later when there was a need to differentiate the Ironhead Sportster from the later bike, the Evolution Sportster. So if you hear an Ironhead, you know that that's going to be a sporty. Hopefully at this point you feel a little bit better educated on some of the Harley motors, and maybe you'll have a little better luck actually identifying one if you see one in the wild and you'll know about when it came from. Make sure you subscribe to us so you can catch other 2-minute lessons as well as some of the other cool videos we're rolling out here at RevZilla.com. I'm Lem, I'm out of here.